Hello everyone, ARG back with some more Franchise Hockey Manager 8. And today, in the fictional world of revisionist history hockey, we are going to finish out the 1991-1992 regular season. And then we're going to go ahead and head for the playoffs, where we hope to win the cup so we can move to other teams. So I looked it up. Look at me, I actually did my job. So I looked up why those two games are, in like 2 weeks. And that's because there was a 10-day strike in 1992 that started on April 1st. So they made up the remaining games, and after that 10-day strike, it was the first strike in NHL history, by the way. Not the last one, as we know. Well, I guess the other ones are called lockouts. As a fan, that's the same darn thing. But anyway, so yeah, that's why there's a gap there. So it allows for players to heal before the playoffs. So I guess that's not too terrible. So, as far as the standings go, we are a point behind the Oilers, same amount of games played. We have 2 games left, both against the Canucks. And, most teams have 2 or 3 games left to play. There's a strike, apparently. We have Adam Burt that's still hurt, banged up a little bit day to day. That's not too terrible. And let's advance. Now, we have not been doing good against Vancouver this season. They are starting to be a little bit better. Of course, when you add Mike Modano, Jaromir Jagr, and Scott Niedermayer to your team, that's going to help a little bit in the winning games department. So there's going to be a lot of days off right now. So bear with me. Also, it is ridiculously cold outside where I'm at. So we all know what it does to my throat. And I had to go outside. I had to go run some errands. So I'm still kind of cold. Alright, so Bruce McNall is still satisfied with my work. We went 8-4-1 last month. We won a lot at the start of the month. And then we started to lose some games near the end there. Adam Burt is almost ready to come back. Alright. Adam Burt is still feeling better and better, and now he is completely recovered. So not a whole lot going on, of course, because there's no games being played, right? And, the trade deadline is passed, so it's not like we're going to see a trade or anything. But we are seeing some waivers right now, so Dan Frawley and David Latta have been put on waivers. I'm not going to claim either of those. So 3 more days before the next game, which is going to be in Vancouver. Oh, look at that. Our mandatory injury right before the playoffs or during the playoff just occurred here. François Gravel is hurt. Diverticulitis. He is day to day, but I cannot. Well, we'll see. Alright, let's see if I have to put him. Of course I have to. Alright, so I'm gonna need to put François Gravel on injured reserve. And I'm gonna need to recall. I think we're going to go with Dwayne Roloson. Alright, so the guy that played the bulk of the games in net for the team is hurt right now, or incapacitated, I should say. And we are in Vancouver to play the Canucks. Canucks are 30, 39, and 8. That's good for 7th in the conference. We are 1-3-1 against them this season, so we have not been facing off against them all that great. I would love to turn that around. Artus Irbe is going to be in net for us. Frank Pietrangelo is going to be in net for Vancouver. Go Kings, go! Oh yeah, Guy Boucher used to be the coach for the Sens in real life, and he used to say that rest is a weapon. Well, look at that. We won 9-4. Now, given that Vancouver got rest as well, but it doesn't fit my narrative. Alright, so a very convincing 9-4 victory. God, my throat. I'm so sorry. Alright, very convincing 9-4 win here in Vancouver. We also outshot them 40-21. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game, 4 goals and 2 assists. Mike Gartner was the second star of the game with 2 goals and 3 assists, and Gary Galley was the third star with a goal and 3 assists. Wayne Gretzky opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 60th of the season on a power play from Mike Gartner and Gary Galley. Then Gary Galley scored his 25th from Luc Robitaille and Alexander Mogilny. Then Scott Arniel scored unassisted, and then Gerald Deduck from Mike Ridley and Randy Wood. 4-0 Kings after 1. That looked pretty good for us. Then in the second period, Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Gary Galley and Ray Shepherd, made it 5-0. Then the Canucks scored, made it 5-1, and then Wayne Gretzky scored again. That was his hat-trick goal from Mike Gartner and Joe Rickey. 6-1 Kings after 2. Then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored his 4th goal of the game from Mike Gartner and Alexei Gusarov, made it 7-1. Then the Canucks scored twice. It was 7-3, and then we scored twice. Mike Gartner from Wayne Gretzky and Gary Galley, and then Mike Gartner again from Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille. 9-3 the score, and the Canucks added a late goal, made it 9-4. It was too late. That was a very convincing victory. Bob McGill and Joe Rickey fought in the third period, so did Gord Donnelly and Adam Burt. Right, there was no stopping Wayne Gretzky. 4 goals and 2 assists. Pierre Turgeon extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Montreal. Now, one thing that I also figured out while I was reading about that season as to why there was that gap for the games is that it was the first time in his career that Wayne Gretzky didn't finish in the top 2 for scoring in the league. He was actually 3rd behind Mario Lemieux and Kevin Stevens. Kevin Stevens was only the 3rd player in Gretzky's career to get more points than Wayne Gretzky at the end of a regular season. Yes, I did say Kevin Stevens. Thank you, Mario Lemieux. Alright, good game for Theo Fleury. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Jets. Steve Yzerman is injured in Detroit. He's day-to-day. Brian McClellan is suspended in Minnesota. He's going to miss 1 game. And François Gravel might be back soon. I can't recall him for a little bit anyway. Craig Janney extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Waiters. Memorable game for Pat LaFontaine, who had 3 goals and an assist against the Washington Capitals. And Gravel's almost back. Well, not quite. I'm still not going to be able to get him in. 8 more days. Alright, last regular season game. We're still 1 point behind the Oilers, so if we win this game and the Oilers lose, we're going to have home ice advantage against the Oilers in the first round of the playoffs. If we tie and they lose, I'm not sure. I would have to look it up and I'm too lazy. And if we lose, for sure, we are going to start on the road. Alright, so for home ice advantage, we kind of need to win this game against the Canucks again. They are still 7th, and we are now 2-3-1, so I would like to have a 500 record against them to finish the season. Frank Pietrangelo back in net for the Canucks. Arthur Serbe back in net for the Kings. Go Kings! Come on, let's clinch home ice advantage for the first round. And a 4-3 victory, we did our part. Now it's up to whoever's playing against the Oilers. It's probably like the Flames or something. Alright, so we outshot Vancouver 48-36 in this 4-3 victory. Gary Galley was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Petri Skriko was the second star with a goal. And Mike Gartner was the third star with an assist. A sellout crowd here in Inglewood. Wayne Gretzky opened up the scoring early in the first period from Gary Galley and Luc Robitaille. Then the Canucks tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then we scored twice in the second period. Alexander Mogilny from Gary Galley and Joe Rickey. Then Gary Galley from Andrew Castles and Alexander Mogilny. 3-1 Kings here after 2. Then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored his 65th of the season from Mike Gartner and Brian Glynn. It was 4-1. Then the Canucks scored twice. They came to within 1. It was 4-3, but they had 2 minutes and 18 seconds left to tie the game, and they were not able to do so. So a 4-3 victory for us it is. And there was a fight between Gerald Dedock and Bob McGill. Alright, so there's a cat that absolutely wants in here. Give me a second. Alright, sorry about that. She whined all night to get in here too, and I didn't sleep very good. It's too cold to put her in the garage. She likes to go in the garage, but it's too cold to put her in there. She's gonna freeze to death. Of course, she doesn't know that. Alright. Did I go through all of that? I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Robert Lang improves at left wing. That's good. Alright, so that was the last game of the regular season for us. Hopefully the Oilers lose their last one. And they did. So, yeah, they lost 2-1 against Winnipeg. So we have home ice advantage for the first round. That's cool. Suspension over for Brian McClellan, so back in the lineup for Minnesota. Great night for Jeremy Roenick. He had 4 assists against the Blues. And François Gravel is ready, but I have to keep him on the injured reserve for longer. 7 more days. Claude Villegrain has been put on waivers by the Red Wings. Craig Janney extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist against the Habs. Suspension for Steve Conroy with the Islanders. He is going to be out 5 games. And Mike Milbury might get fired as the GM of the Sharks after that terrible Mats Naslund trade that he's made. I can see why, but anyway. Now I know it's Mike Milbury and everything. I wish that when there's expansion teams that there would be more leniency. Like you very rarely see an expansion team that's going to fire their GM and coach in their first season. You need to kind of leave them some time to build something. So I wish there was a little bit more leniency in the game for expansion teams. Maybe eventually. Alright, suspension over for Mark Colasar in San Jose, back in the lineup, and Doug Gilmour extends his point streak to 12 games with an assist against the Canucks. Alright, so I think that the regular season is over. Oh, so now we're gonna see the award nominees. Alright, so for the Hart, Doug Gilmour, Joe Sakic, and Wayne Gretzky. The Vizina is going to be between Greg Millen, Mike Vernon, and Ron Extall. The Norris between Al McInnes, Larry Murphy, and Paul Coffey. Calder between John LeClaire, Ken Hodge, and Owen Nolan. GM of the Year between Glenn Sather, Ron Caron, and Serge Savard. Ah, that was a powerful sneeze. It is that time of the year. Alright, so Frank, the Selkie between Dave Hannon, Doug Gilmour, and Mark Messier. Lady Byng between Andy Brickley, Greg Adams, and Pierre Turgeon. Looks like Andy Brickley is nominated for the Lady Byng every single season. The Mark Messier Leadership Award between Chris Chelios, Doug Gilmour, and Mario Lemieux. The Ted Lindsay between Joe Sakic, Mario Lemieux, and Wayne Gretzky. And the Jack Adams between Gene Ubracchio of Pittsburgh, Glenn Sather, and Pat Burns. Pat Burns, the late Pat Burns, very famously quoted after Shane Corson got arrested for like fighting in a bar and everything. Pat Burns went in the media the next day and said that Shane Corson can eat shit. So they don't make them like Pat Burns anymore. Alright, so let's advance one more day. Alright, so we are facing the Oilers. Flames are going to be facing the Vancouver Canucks. Let's take a look. It's easier to look from here. Alright, so Hartford is going to be playing Montreal, and then Boston is going to be playing Buffalo. I believe that was the exact same matchups as in real life that happened. The Rangers against Pittsburgh, Philadelphia against Washington. That's not the same. The Devils were in there. Toronto's going to be facing off against St. Louis, Chicago against Minnesota, and then Vancouver against Calgary, and Edmonton against us. Feels like we face the Oilers every year. Alright, so we're going to be playing game 1 here. I guess Sorry. Alright, so Oilers finished the season 42-24 and 14. Just 1 point behind us. We didn't face off very good against the Oilers this season. 1-3 and 3. That's going to need to change in the playoffs. Let's take a look at the Oilers. See if... Oh, they have a lot of injuries. So Sheldon Kennedy out, Glenn Anderson out, Craig McTavish out, Craig Simpson out, and Kevin Lowe out. Esa Tikkanen is day-to-day. He may or may not play. Then Dave McElwain is suspended. So we're definitely not facing their best lineup there. In net, they have Grant Fuhr and Bill Ranford. On D, they have Craig Muni, Jim Pake, Adrian Plavsic, Yves Racine, Jeff Sharples, Chris Joseph, Gordon Murphy, and Steve Smith. That's still a decent D, despite having all those injuries. Then up front they have Biggs, Jelena, McRae, Tikkanen, Acton, Carlson, McElwain, Mark Messier, Dobbin, Kovalenko, Corey, Vukota, and Martel. Alright. Bill Ranford is going to be facing Arthurs Irby in the first game of the playoffs. Go Kings! Let's go win the cup today. Alright, good start. We won 4-3 the first game. A little tight game, but that's okay. We end up with the W. We outshot Edmonton 42-28. Wayne Gretzky was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Don Biggs was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brian Glynn was the third star with 2 assists. Sellout crowd here in Inglewood. Edmonton opened up the scoring in the first, then we scored twice. Luc Robitaille from Mike Gartner and Adam Burt, then Randy Ledouceur from Brian Glynn and Wayne Gretzky, and then the Oilers scored again. It was tied at 2 after 1. Then in the second period, Alexander McGillney scored from Andrew Castles. It gave us the lead, but then the Oilers tied the game again. So it was tied at 3 after 2, and then in the third period with 9 seconds left to go in the game, Wayne Gretzky made the Inglewood Arena explode with the game-winning goal from Robert Reichel and Brian Glynn, a 4-3 victory with 9 seconds left to go in the third. Those hurt for the losing team. Alright, Gerald Deduck and Mark Messier fought in the third period, and so did Gerald Deduck and Don Biggs. So Deduck got into 2 fights there. Oh, Gaston Gingras had a good game for the Blues. He had 4 assists against the Leafs. Oh. Alright, let's take a look here. So Calgary beat Vancouver 4-3. Chicago... Hey, FJ, what's up? Chicago beat Minnesota. We beat Edmonton. St. Louis beat Toronto. Philadelphia shut out Washington. The Habs beat Hartford. Pittsburgh beat the Rangers. And Boston beat Buffalo 1-0. So the Stanley Cup Final in real life for that particular season was the Blackhawks against the Pens. So they have a shot at facing each other, I suppose. Uh-oh. But yeah, the good old days of being hungover. At your age, you know what I found was the best cure for hangover? Drink a beer. Just one. Drink 1 beer. Like, when you're still feeling a little hungover, you get up, drink 1 beer, and then your stomach is gonna settle, I promise you. Alright. Now, those tricks don't work at my age. I'm hungover for like 3 days. But yeah, when I was your age, oh yeah. Alright. So, game 2. Hopefully we win that one as well. So you had a party, or did you just... at least don't tell me you drank by yourself. I mean, not that I've never done that, but... Alright, Bill Ranford and Arthurs Irby for game number 2. Go Kings! Oh, we lost that one 5-3. That's not good. Alright, that's cool. Yeah, that's not good. The Oilers have all those injuries. We need to be, beating them while we can. Alright, so we outshot them 36-26. Brian Dobbin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Mike Gartner was the second star with 2 assists. Martin Jelena was the third star with 2 assists as well. Another sellout crowd in Inglewood. That time the arena did not explode. The Oilers opened up the scoring in the first. It was 1-0 Edmonton after 1. There was a fight between Joe Rickey and Mick Vukota. Then in the second period, the Oilers added 2 more goals, and then Luke Robitaille scored on the power play from Mike Gartner and Wayne Gretzky, 3-1 Edmonton after 2. Then Gary Galley brought us to within 1 with a power play goal from Mike Gartner and Wayne Gretzky, but then Edmonton scored, made it 4-2. With a minute and 3 seconds, Brian Glynn gave us some hope, brought us back to within 1 from Ray Shepard and Ron Duguay, but then the Oilers scored in an empty net with 7 seconds left to go. That was a 5-3 loss. There was a fight between Joe Rickey and Steve Martel. Alright, so I can bring François Gravel back. Alright. And Dave McElwain is back from suspension in Edmonton, back in the lineup. My Saturday was alright. I streamed some baseball. I streamed some hockey. The Sens had an awesome comeback win against Edmonton last night. That was a pretty late game for me, because the game was in Edmonton, so the game started at 9 p.m. my time. Well, it was alright. My girlfriend's son is starting to run a fever, so now we're on COVID alert, but yeah, it is what it is. Bring it. I got COVID twice already. I'm a veteran. I'm the grizzled veteran that gets acquired at the trade deadline to catch COVID. Alright. Let's look at the other teams too. Oh god. Alright, so Tony Granato is suspended in New York. He's gonna miss 5 games. Wow, those are playoff games too. I don't know what he did. Prolific passing night for Zardy Zalapski. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Rangers. Yeah, that's the 11-2 game I saw. That's crazy. Memorable night for Paul McDermott with the Flyers. He had a hat-trick against the Capitals. And Keith Primo is suspended with the Leafs. He's going to miss 3 games. Well, a couple suspensions there. Yeah, I'm a COVID vet, man. I'm gonna have a sticker on my car. Like in the US, I don't know how it is in Norway. I know in the US, and you probably are able to guess that, but you know, Army veterans, or you know, Air Force or whatever, they love to have, you know, stickers on their cars that indicate that they're veterans, and I mean that's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna have a COVID veteran sticker on my car. Yeah, if he tests positive for COVID and that I start having any form of symptoms, then I have to work from home for 5 straight days, as per policy from my work. Alright, so Calgary is up 2-0 in their series against Vancouver. Chicago beat Minnesota, they're up 2-0 as well. Our series is tied at 1. St. Louis beat Toronto, they are up 2-0. Washington beat Philadelphia. Hartford tied their series against Montreal. Pittsburgh destroyed the Rangers 11-2. And Buffalo came back in their series against Boston with a 6-4 win. Alright. Alright, game 3. Arthur Searby is still our goaltender, despite François Gravel coming back from injury. Bill Ranford is going to be in net still for the Oilers. We need a win here. We need to regain home ice advantage. Come on, Kings, give me a W. Oh, yeah. 8-0. Yeah, elite goalie François Gravel got hurt right before the playoffs started, but he wasn't out for very long. And now it looks like he lost his his starting job, which is okay because Arthur's Airbay just pulled a 8-0 shutout. Right, so we outshot the Oilers 46-22 in that one. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Alexei Gusarov was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Luc Robitaille was the third star with 3 assists. What a game. Alright, so we scored 4 goals in the first period. Ray Shepherd from Randy Wood and Mike Ridley. Then Wayne Gretzky from Luc Robitaille and Brian Glynn. Then Wayne Gretzky again from Luc Robitaille and Alexei Gusarov. And then Alexander McGillney from Robert Reichel and Ron Duguay. It was 4-0 for the Kings after 1. We added 3 more goals in the second period. Mike Gartner scored on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Shepherd. Then Alexander McGillney from Luc Robitaille and Andrew Castles. And then Andrew Castles from Scott Arniel and Alexei Gusarov. 7-0. And then in the third period, Alexei Gusarov scored on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Robert Reichel. It was a very, very decisive 8-0 victory. Oilers fan didn't have much to feel good about with that game. Memorable game for Mike Bullard in St. Louis. He had 3 goals and an assist against Toronto. Big game for Dave Laurie in that same game. He had 4 assists. Pretty good. Memorable game for Dirk Graham. 3 goals and an assist against Minnesota. Also a pretty good performance. Suspension for Calgary's Brian Fogarty. He's going to miss 2 games. And Rob Ramage is back from suspension in Calgary, so they're just rotating defensemen going in and out of suspension over there. Calgary took a 3-0 lead in their series against the Canucks. Chicago, I believe, is also up 3-0 with a 7-6 victory. We are up 2-1 with an 8-0 win, and I believe St. Louis is also up 3-0 in their series. Wow, all of the series except for ours in the West might end with the next round of games. Philadelphia beat Washington 3-2. Hartford beat Montreal 2-1, so Hartford is up 2-1 in their series. Pittsburgh beat the Rangers 5-3, and Boston beat Buffalo 4-1. Alright, so we are in Edmonton still, and it would be huge if we could take a 3-1 lead in that series. Arthur Airbay still in net for us. Bill Ranford still in net for the Oilers. Go Kings, make it 3-1. Oh, another shutout. Another shutout for Arthur Airbay. 3-0. So we went to Edmonton and we didn't let them score a single goal in front of their fans in the playoffs. Woohoo! We outshot Edmonton 37-21. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Joe Rickey was the second star with an assist, and Randy Wood was the third star with an assist as well. Gerald Deduck opened up the scoring in the first from Ray Shepherd and Randy Wood. 1-0 Kings after 1. Then Wayne Gretzky scored unassisted in the second period, made it 2-0. Then Wayne Gretzky scored again in the third period. That was his 5th of the playoffs from Gary Volk and Joe Rickey. 3-0 for the Kings. There was only 1 penalty all game, and it was ours in the third period. And I was waiting for it. There it is. So the mandatory star player injury during the playoffs has now hit Mike Gartner this season. So we lost our starting goaltender the first season. We lost Wayne Gretzky some other year, and now Mike Gartner is out. All right. Oh, he's day-to-day. All right. I guess it's not the end of the world. A second-degree oblique strain. But he's unable to play right now, right? Yeah. So Robert Lang is going to draw in. All right. So Calgary eliminated Vancouver in 4. Chicago eliminated Minnesota in 4. Oh, Toronto's still alive. They beat St. Louis. Philadelphia beat Washington 4-2. The Habs tied their series at 2 with a 4-3 win against the Whalers. Pittsburgh beat the Rangers 5-4, and Boston beat Buffalo 4-3. Alright, so we can end this series right now. We're going to have to do it without Mike Gartner if we do. So we are up 3-1 in our series. Arthur Airbase still in net, of course. 2 shutouts in a row. Bill Ranford is still the goaltender for the Oilers. Go Kings! And we move on to the second round where we're going to be facing the Calgary Flames. It's going to be tough. The Flames are really good. Oh, we were outshot 43-29 in that one, so thank you, Arthur's Airbay. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 3 assists. Ray Sheppard was the second star with 3 assists, and Luc Robitaille was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. Sellout crowd in Inglewood celebrated the first round playoff victory. Alexei Gusarov opened up the scoring in the first. That was a power play goal from Gary Galley and Wayne Gretzky. Then the Oilers tied the game. It was 1-1 after 1. Gerald Deduck and Mark Messier fought as well. Then in the second period, Luc Robitaille scored from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Sheppard. Then the Oilers scored twice. It was 3-2. Edmonton after 2. But we didn't give up. Wayne Gretzky scored unassisted, tied the game. Then we scored 3 more goals after that. Luc Robitaille from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Sheppard. Gary Gaddy from Gary Volk and Andrew Castles. And then Wayne Gretzky on the power play from Luc Robitaille and Ray Sheppard. 6-3 Kings. At that point, the Oilers scored, made it 6-4, but Gerald Deduck scored in an empty net from Andrew Castles and Scott Arneal. 7-4 the final score. Good game for Pierre Turgeon. He had 4 assists against the Bruins, and Keith Primo is back from suspension in Toronto. However, I believe Toronto just got eliminated. We eliminated Edmonton. Philadelphia won 2-1. Montreal is up 3-2 in their series, and Buffalo, I believe, is still alive with a 5-2 victory over the Bruins. Don't really care. Alright, so that's over. Montreal eliminated Hartford. Boston eliminated Buffalo. So Boston and Montreal are facing each other in round number 2 in the Wales Conference. The good old rivals facing each other. Alright, so the top-selling jerseys for the Kings in April. Gretzky, Airbay, Robitaille, Gartner, and Galley. And in the NHL, Gretzky was 4th, Airbay 11th, and Robitaille 17th. Paul Ranheim named NHL star for the month. So Paul Ranheim and Ed Belfour were the players of the month in the NHL in April. Mike Gartner getting closer to returning. That'd be great. Amazing off-season workout regimen for Ulf Dallin. Alright, so Ulf Dallin is seeing some results from his regimen playing with the Rangers. And I have to select a Hall of Fame nominee. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. I'll go with Wilf. Alright, so second round of the playoffs is now going to be underway. We're going to start that against the Flames. It's not going to be easy. Alright, so Boston is going to be playing against Montreal, Philadelphia is going to be playing against Pittsburgh, Chicago against St. Louis, and us against the Flames. Alright, so Calgary finished first in the conference by quite a big margin. They were 53-20-7 in the regular season. That's really good. And we were 2-4-1 against them this season. So hopefully we can do something. They have one injury. Hakan Lube is going to be missing the start of that series, but he might be coming back soon. And Brian Fogarty is suspended right now, not going to play. Everybody else is healthy. That means Vincent Riendo and Mike Vernon in net. Fogarty, McCown, McCrimmon, Suter, Norwood, McInnes, Ramage on D. Berezan, Grimson, Ranheim, Roberts, Roberge, Gilmore, Nieuwendyk, Otto Oyanen, Evans, Fleury, Gregg, Kastelik, and Mullen up front. There's a lot of their players that I could trade for. That's crazy. Like, I could go for Gary Suter, Al McInnes, Rob Ramage, Stu Grimson, Paul Ranheim, Gary Roberts, Mario Roberge, Doug Gilmore, Mark Gregg. Wow. Alright, so we're starting that on the road. Not gonna be easy. Is Gartner gonna be able to play the first game? No. Alright, so Gartner not available for game 1. Artis Irby in net for us. Mike Vernon in net for the Flames. Go Kings! Come on. And we lost the first game 4-1. Oh, we're struggling against the Flames. Alright, so we were outshot 36-24. Joe Nieuwendyk was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick. Paul Ranheim was the second star with 4 assists. And Joe Mullen was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. Flames scored twice in the first period, then Alexander McGillney scored from Randy Wood and Brian Glynn, and then the Flames added one more. It was 3-1. Flames after one. There was a fight between Al McInnes and Joe Rickey in the first as well. Then in the second period, the Flames scored again, made it 4-1. Another fight between Joel Otto and Randy Ledusser. Then in the third period, nobody scored, but we had a fight between Brad McCrimmon and Randy Ledusser. Yeah, we lost 4-1. Mike Ridley did not get suspended. That's good. No one could stop Joe Nieuwendyk, as we saw. Paul Ranheim has a memorable game, as we saw. Brian Fogarty is back from suspension. Mario Lemieux is day-to-day. He has a sore quad. Mike Gartner might be back for the next game. That'd be great. Alright, so we lost 4-1. Chicago beat St. Louis 6-3. Montreal beat Boston 2-1. And Pittsburgh shut out Philadelphia 4-0. Yeah, Gartner is probably going to be playing next game. Alright, so game 2, we're down 0-1 in that playoff series against the Flames. Hopefully we can win this one. Go back home with a tied series. Artis Irby still in net for us. Mike Vernon in net for the Flames. Go Kings, come on, give me a W. Oh yeah, 8-2 win, a statement game. There it is. We outshot Calgary 50-33. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 3 assists. Ray Shepherd was the second star with 2 goals and 3 assists as well. And Luc Robitaille was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. Flames opened up the scoring in the first, then Luc Robitaille tied the game. That was his 5th of the playoffs on the power play from Ray Shepherd, and Mike Gartner tied at 1 after 1. Then we exploded in period number 2. Brian Glynn scored from Alexander McGillney and Andrew Castles. Wayne Gretzky from Ray Shepherd and Luc Robitaille. Ray Shepherd from Luc Robitaille and Gerald Deduck. Then Gary Galley from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Shepherd. It was 5-1. Then the Kings scored made it 5-2. Then Wayne Gretzky scored unassisted, made it 6-2 for the Kings after 2. And we added 2 more. Ray Shepard from Wayne Gretzky and Gary Galley, and then Scott Arniel from Alexei Gusarov and Wayne Gretzky, 8 to win. And there was a fight in the third between Gary Roberts and Gerald Deduck. We're going home with a 1-1 tie in our series. That's pretty good. Strong game for Owen Nolan. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Habs. Alright, so St. Louis beat Chicago, so tied series there as well. Boston beat Montreal, tied series there as well. Pittsburgh won, so it's 2-0 in their series against the Flyers. Oh, Brian Leach has growing soreness. He is day-to-day. Alright, the series shifts in LA. We're going to be in front of our fans. Winning both games would be so big. We have a tough opponent, though. The Flames are really good. Alright. So the coach is playing Gartner conservatively since he's still hurt. So playing on the third line with Andrew Castles and Scott Arniel. Mike Vernon still in net for the Flames. Artus Irbe still in net for us. Go Kings, come on. Oh, we lost 5-4 in overtime. No. We were outshot 48-41. Theo Fleury was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Luc Robitaille was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Gary Roberts was the third star with a goal and an assist. Sellout crowd, of course, in Inglewood. Flames opened up the scoring in the first. Then Luc Robitaille scored from Wayne Gretzky and Randy Ladouceur. Then Andrew Castles from Luc Robitaille and Mike Gartner. It was 2-1 Kings after 1. Then in the second period, Alexei Gusarov scored from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Ridley. Then Mike Gartner from Brian Glynn and Andrew Castles. We had a 4-1 lead in that game, and we let it slip away. Flames would score 2 goals before the end of the second period. It was 4-3 Kings. Then in the third period, Theo Fleury tied game at 4. There was a fight between Gerald Deduck and Gary Roberts, and the hero of that game was Doug Gilmour, who scored in overtime. And we are down 2-1 in our series against the Flames. Oh, that's not good. Mike Gartner got hurt, and he was already hurt, so now he's probably out for a while. No, he's only day-to-day still. A bruised finger. Get out of here. Get back in the lineup. It's the playoffs and it's the 90s. Alright, so we lost. St. Louis beat Chicago 3-2. They are up 2-1 in their series. Montreal is up 2-1 in their series. They beat Boston. And Pittsburgh is up 3-0 in their series over the Flyers with a 3-1 win. Yeah, we're going to need a W here. We cannot drop 3-1 in that series. I don't think we're going to come back if we do. Oh, Gary Volk is also hurt. Why not? Oh, he can play though. See, he's and he will. I'm not recalling anybody. Right. Game 4, we're down 2-1 in the series. Mike Vernon in net for the Flames. Artus Irbe in net for the Kings. Go Kings, come on. We lost 5-2, we're down 3-1. It's going to be really tough to come back from this. We were outshot 45-30. Joe Nieuwendyk was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Joe Mullen was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brian Fogarty was the third star with a goal and an assist. Sellout crowd in Inglewood that got pretty disappointed with the result. Flames scored twice in the first period. Then Alexander McGillney scored his 5th from Mike Ridley. It was a 2-1 Flames lead after 1. They added 2 more in the second period. They were winning 4-1 at that point. Robert Reichhold scored in the third period from Robert Lang and Ron Duguay. It was 4-2 Flames at that point. Then the Flames added one more 5-2, and we have our back to the wall. We're good with Gary Volk injured. He's playing injured. He's fine. Right, Chicago tied their series against St. Louis. Montreal is up 3-1, and Philadelphia avoided elimination. They won, so it's 3-1 over there too. So only one series is tied after 4 games. It's the St. Louis-Chicago series. We are facing elimination. Boston is facing elimination, and Philadelphia is still facing elimination. All right, so we're playing in Calgary, trying to stay alive. Artus Irby in net still. Mike Vernon in net for the Flames. Go Kings, come on. And we won 4-2. We are not dead yet. We were outshot 40-28. Gary Galley was the first star of the game. He had a hat trick. Theo Fleury was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Artus Irby was the third star with 38 saves and a W. Gary Galley opened up the scoring in the first from Ray Shepherd and Luke Robitaille. And Gary Galley scored his 5th of the playoffs from Wayne Gretzky and Gerald Deduck. It was 2-0. The Flames scored twice, though, and it was tied at 2 after 1. Gary Volk scored in the second period from Robert Reichel and Randy Ladouceur, made it 3-2 Kings. And then in the third period, Gary Galley completed his hat trick from Ron Duguay and Andrew Castles, and it was a 4-2 victory for the Kings. Stu Grimson and Joe Rickey got into a fight as well. And Alexander McGillney is hurt, so there you have it. The constant injuring of my good players during the playoffs continues. Is day to day. There was no stopping Gary Galley. He had a hat trick against the Flames, as we saw. Owen Nolan has a great game. He also had a hat trick against Montreal. That means that Boston is still alive because they won 4-1. Right, St. Louis is up 3-2. Calgary is up 3-2. Montreal is up 3-2, and Pittsburgh eliminated Philadelphia. So Pittsburgh is moving to the Wales Conference Finals. They're gonna face off against either Montreal or Boston. Oh God. Alright, Mike Gartner ready already. That'd be great. Gary Volk is recovered, so what does it look like? Oh, Gartner can play injured, so we're good. I don't have to recall anybody. Alright, game 6, we need to win it. We're still facing elimination here, so Flames are now in town. Mike Vernon in net for the Flames. Artus Irby in net for us. Go Kings. And we lost 3-0. Alright, so we're going to need to try to win next season yet again. Alright, we outshot the Flames 36-35. Mike Vernon was the first star of the game, of course, 36 saves and the shutout to eliminate us. Gary Roberts was the second star with 2 goals and an assist, and Gary Suter was the third star with 2 assists. We didn't score, so I'm not really going into that. Nobody fought. That's the end of that. Alright, so the game... Oh, look at that. Another player got hurt during that game. Alright, so that ends our foray into the playoffs for this season. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about next season. I'm getting a few decent rookies that I'm gonna sign, and I think next year might be our year, folks. Mike Gartner ready to return? Well, you know, we're not playing anymore. Alright. Montreal beat Boston. St. Louis beat Chicago. Looks like those teams are going into their respective conference finals. So it's going to be the Flames against the Blues and the Habs against the Penguins. Oh, that's going to hurt the Flames. Gary Roberts got hurt for 4 weeks. How does that feel? Alright, so Montreal beat Pittsburgh 4-1. Calgary beat St. Louis 1-0. Oh, Alexander McGinney returns. I'm glad. Pittsburgh beat Montreal 3-2. Calgary beat St. Louis 6-3. Pittsburgh beat Montreal 4-1. Calgary beat St. Louis 3-0. So Calgary is up 3-0 in their series, and Pittsburgh is up 2-1. Bob Airy has a memorable game. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Habs, and Pat Falloon, playing for Montreal, also had a good game. He had a hat trick. But Pittsburgh was on top 7-6, so Pittsburgh is up 3-1 in their series, and Calgary swept the Blues in their conference final. So in all likelihood, we're going to see Pittsburgh and Calgary in the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, Adam Burt is hurt. I don't know what he did. We're not playing. You have a bruised chest. What have you been doing, dude? I'm getting messages about my players coming back from injury. It's unimportant because we're not playing. And Pittsburgh eliminated Montreal in 5 games. So the Stanley Cup Finals in 1991-1992 as one of the 2 right teams from real life, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Although Pittsburgh in real life faced Chicago that year, so Chicago is going to be replaced by Calgary, who's really good. Should be a pretty interesting Stanley Cup Finals. Those are 2 really good teams. And Calgary won game number 1 5-4. So yeah, it's the Stanley Cup Final is delivering here. That's a pretty good 5-4 game. All right, game number 2 goes to Calgary, another 5-4 win. Wow. Memorable night for Doug Gilmour. He had 3 goals and an assist, and that ended in overtime as well. All right, so Calgary is up 2-0 in their series against the Pittsburgh Penguins for the Stanley Cup. And game 3 ended 5-4 again, but this time for Pittsburgh. So the home team has been winning 5-4 every single game. Gilmour is hurt, so he's day-to-day with a 15-stitch facial cut. Oh, top-selling jerseys in May for the Kings: Gretzky, Irbe, Gartner, Robitaille, Gaddy. And in the league, Gretzky was 5th and Irbe 18th. Oh, Pittsburgh this time won 7-1 against Calgary, so the Stanley Cup Finals is tied at 2 games apiece. As I said, we have kind of a good showing there. All right, I have to vote for Hall of Fame. There you go. All right. Let's advance this stuff. Oh, Calgary took a 3-2 lead into the Stanley Cup Final with a 3-2 win at home. So they are one win away from winning the Stanley Cup. And are they doing it? Yep. They won 4-2 in Pittsburgh, and they are the Stanley Cup champions. So the Calgary Flames, with a really good season, ended up winning the Stanley Cup in 1991-1992. Pittsburgh may move Jan Ludwig, that they announced after losing. Alright, so we failed to win the Stanley Cup yet again. I'm going to go ahead and stop here for today. It's a good stopping point. The next time I come live, we're going to be doing quite a few things. So I'm gonna need to sign rookies. I'm gonna need to try to find some free agents. Although in those years it's really hard to find some. And maybe more importantly, we're gonna be going through another expansion draft. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we might be losing some players, maybe some defensemen in that draft. I don't have a whole lot of forwards, so that's not going to be hard to, protect those, but yeah, I have a lot of defensemen. Not a lot of great ones, let's be honest, but I do have quite a few defensemen, so we'll see. Like I said earlier, I think next year we have a shot. I do think so. We're going to have guys like Magnus Arvidsson joining the team, possibly Glenn Murray. That's going to add some more depth to our forward group, which was seriously lacking this year. So yeah, we'll see. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save that here. And of course, as usual, I want to thank you for tuning in. Sorry I wasn't able to win the cup yet again. That means we get to continue to do that for a while. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you folks next time. Thank you.